Hello, our friends, Evolutionary Energy Arts family.
Hello and welcome back.
So we have a big one, and I was saying to Cindy yesterday, I feel like there's going to be something really big, like 7, 8 on the Richter, and here we go.
I know you were feeling it all day and into the night, and here we are.
Yeah, and I'm feeling something else too. There's something else in play, and it just feels ominous. There's kind of like a holding your breath, waiting for impact feel. Yesterday we had some super weird wind, crazy wind. I mean, just, you know, somebody needs to learn how to park the mothership.
Somebody does. They really, truly do.
So it's 7.3, as you see here, and this is off the coast of New Zealand. And residents on New Zealand's coast were warned to head to higher ground immediately after this, because the threat of tsunami after this huge earthquake. And this struck off the country's North Island and caused severe shaking. 7.3 magnitude struck 147 miles northeast of Gisborne, New Zealand at 2:27 a.m. on Friday, according to USGS. People near the coast from Cape Runaway to Talaga Bay should move immediately to the nearest high ground out of tsunami evacuation zones, or as far inland as possible. Do not return until an official all-clear message is given by civil defense. Wow, it's scary to hear something like that going on.
It really is, and we do send our prayers and blessings over there, and we hope our dear sister Tina is okay.
The U.S. Pacific Tsunami Warning Center earlier had said, based on preliminary quake parameters, hazardous tsunami waves are possible for coasts located within 300 kilometers, 186 miles, of the earthquake epicenter. At least 4 aftershocks have been reported. No reports of injuries or damage, thankfully, but people felt it as far away as Christchurch. As we could zoom in here, and you can see the location. And, yep, we have that big one with 4 aftershocks. Things are going to an all-new level now. I think it's becoming pretty obvious with what we've been seeing.
It is, and here we have scientists in Iceland say strong signs volcanic eruption is imminent.
Yeah, 18,000 quakes in a week is something to pay attention to.
Yeah.
You know, and last night, and maybe it's just because I'm all saturated in this, I was dreaming that there was like major volcanic eruptions that had occurred, and we knew things were going to start to get even colder.
Right, that's the trend. Things are definitely getting chillier.
Although at the same time, we did get that what we saw in Texas was not necessarily all natural.
No, that was not all natural. That was something that was, I don't know, it's not nice what they're doing.
Yeah, that was something very, very different. And, we have multiple things going on. We have a ton of volcanoes that are either underway with eruptions or seeming to get ready to go. Pinatubo, alert level raised after 1,722 earthquakes since January 20th. We see a pattern here. Increased eruptive activity at Pacaya volcano. Heavy ashfall reported down in Guatemala. There's 3 going down there right now. This is all adding. Etna's going crazy. It had its ninth paroxysmal eruptive episode since February 16th. So again, all over the globe. And hang on, we've been waiting to see when this was going to start building, and we have dozens of quakes occurred over 45 minutes at Mount Hood. The Pacific Northwest, don't forget all the volcanoes over there, obviously Mount St. Helens, but we have others over there as well. And, at some point it feels that the Pacific Northwest will start to jump on board with all the activity we're seeing everywhere else.
I know, it's almost like labor pains going on here.
Yes, very much so. And so we got new activity this past week for 6 more volcanoes and ongoing at 16. And that's not all we have. Remember the massive flooding that we saw in Kentucky? So FEMA emergency should be declared. And, the flooding around the globe is also increasing. Again, this is all part of that cycle that's ultimately going to bring us to a new mini ice age / ice age, a new glaciation period. And, we had asked the guides, when would that be? And you got basically 6 years for 60 years, 60 years for the glaciation to be happening where, when we look back to what it was like in the last ice age, there was glacier all the way down, through Illinois, down into so much of the U.S. I mean, Canada was just, totally covered.
Right. There was just so much going on, and eventually we're going to get back there again. But right now, this is like the beginnings of definite change here. There's no denying that things are changing, and we need to be more self-sufficient.
Yes, and there are areas, I should say, that don't really get colder, like Alaska, for instance. Along that line, in those time periods. But as far as the majority, it's gonna shrink the growable food zones dramatically, and I'm going to touch on, we're going to try to get a lot of work done today. Today's the first day we don't have people in a while. We had set it up that way because we're getting ready to hit the road. And don't look back, Jack.
Right, just go. Don't look back. Nope.
Yeah, so, we hope to be on the road the next day or two. And who knows? Maybe we'll start going to places that are getting hit and do some first-hand reporting. Ooh, wouldn't that be fun?
That would be exciting.
That would be exciting. So, what we're getting at is that eventually this is going to get just consistently colder. And it's going to increasingly get wetter where it's wet now. So, if you're walking out and it hasn't rained for days and you're walking into soggy ground, it's not good.
Oh, no, it's just a mud bog or like peat moss getting muddy. That's horrible.
It is, and pay attention to these things. If you're in like a flood zone A or something like that, chances are, you might not be able to stay there long term. We are going to end up being jammed into smaller and smaller areas. As we were saying, there's going to be smaller and smaller areas to grow food, and that's going to end up creating shortages. And there's so much we could be doing that's not being done by the powers that be, that it's really ridiculous.
Yeah, I know. They could do a whole lot. They could really inform people and help people, show them how to get prepared, but they're not.
20 inches of snow buries Atlantic Canada. There's a lot going on here. We've been talking about it, like the Atlantic, the Gulf Stream stopping. It's at a trickle now. And at some point, it's going to stop. And there again, the UK is going to be frozen, and Iceland truly will be Iceland. And the Northeast is going to get so much colder. This is all coming, and we could just see it. It's just like dominoes are falling here. Whiteout conditions hit Maine, New York, Vermont, and beyond the cold blob. Now, we're going to get a warm-up. The pattern is coming in. It's going to be above normal for most of the country besides the Pacific Northwest for the month of March. But don't let that lower your guard or stop your preparations. You see, March snow hits Hawaii, plus 3 feet slams South Korea. UK, Scandinavia, and the Alps brace for a mid-month burial. Yeah, it's just building. It's just building. And we see cyclical mountain tsunamis have been occurring in the Chilean Patagonia for the last 10,000 years. Catastrophic floods due to the emptying or rupture of glacial lakes in Chilean Patagonia have taken place cyclically since the last glacial maximum around 10,000 years ago. Nevertheless, the magnitude of these mountain tsunamis has declined over time. according to a new study as well. But we see these things, these cycles that just keep coming. And then when we add some technology to the cycles, ooh, hang on.
Everything's in cycles, and this is something that they've known forever, and they know how to take advantage of these things.
And as we see, and we've been talking about, the Gulf Stream is slowing to a tipping point and could disappear. The current could slow down to the point of no return, altering the climate on both sides of the Atlantic dramatically. So, you guys might recognize, Long Island right here and Connecticut, there you go. That's like where my hometown was, Massachusetts and all. If it wasn't for the Gulf Stream, it would be much, much colder there, and then farther up as well. What happens is, when you may call it Beaufort and somebody else might call it Beaufort, when the gyre flushes out, which is basically, it's all fresh water. We have gone through a period of warming up there where fresh water has been melting off at ever increasing pace. Because of the differences in salinity and the heaviness of it, when it flushes out, then the Gulf Stream is just basically, it comes up and just goes straight across to like Spain and Portugal, instead of going up and warming. And then everything up there, above Spain and Portugal, and up in New England, for instance, and most definitely going up into the Canadian maritime areas, it's going to get really cold really fast.
Yeah, so we have that to look forward, well, not forward to, but that to plan for.
Well, I mean, if you're looking forward to a time when you could just basically, walk across Long Island Sound, then yeah, it's something to look forward to.
Okay.
So guys, thanks so much for being part of the family. Make sure you are subscribed and have the bell clicked for notifications. Thanks for your support on Ko-Fi and Patreon. We could not do it without you guys. We love and appreciate every one of you. If you need to make an appointment with us, it's evolutionaryenergyarts@gmail.com or EEARTS@protonmail.com. As always, be prepared because, hang on tight. Things are ramping up.
God bless and namaste.
God bless and namaste.